Hello, welcome to your new moon in Taurus reading. Our new moon is happening on this Friday, May 6th. And the thing with the new moon is it's a time of setting intentions. So I love doing card readings at this time. And this is a general reading for all of us to have a flavor. But if you decide that you want to receive a personalized new moon reading, according to what your team, as I call your higher self, is bringing forward, then just I'll include that link down below in the YouTube description as to how you do that. So this new moon is happening at 16 degrees of Taurus, which is smack in the middle of that sign. I love Taurus. It's so yummy and grounded, and it's just it's about the good things in life. It's about really enjoying food and pleasure. Venus energy is associated with Taurus. So there is just this sense of the sensuality of life and like really taking pleasure in a good meal, in beautiful things. Dig out the china, like dig out the stuff in your cupboard or the beautiful silverware that you only use for special. Dig it out. New moon time in Taurus. This is a time to feel opulent, okay? There's a sense of decadence with Taurus that should be celebrated. We all have this energy in our astrological charts. Some of us are blessed with having planets actually in the sign of Taurus, but we all have Taurian energy. And so this is a time to call that part of you forward, okay? So the Sabian symbol, which I love working with these, you guys know that by now, that is attached to 16 degrees of Taurus. Here it comes. An old teacher fails to interest his pupils in traditional knowledge. So what's coming through that I get with this new moon energy? New moon is about positivity and considering another way to look at life, considering other parts of your life to bring forward, okay? Given this symbol, I get a sense that there's an inadequacy with past knowledge, with too much time spent in looking back on old memories. It is so nice to reminisce, and there's comfort in reminiscing, but it also can keep us stuck in that old energy. I'm definitely getting a sense of that. And it's where traditional concepts kind of no longer apply. We are redefining. Again, I'm going back to all those planets that are in retrograde for a good long period of time. 5 planets in retrograde. So we're redefining a lot of what it means in these traditional areas of life. The first one that is coming up for me is in relationships. We're redefining what it means to be a parent, and that perhaps we don't have to control as much as we were taught when we grew up to have control over what they do. Instead, we kind of let them experiment. And we know from our own experience, that's how we learn best. We're redefining what it means to have a partner. That looks very different nowadays than it did all the time that all of us were growing up. It looks totally different today than it did even yesterday. So concepts of marriage, concepts of same-sex relationships, concepts of what it means to even just be a single person in this world and the joys of that. Concepts of also connecting with friends, connecting with tribe. That feels very important too, okay? So this is the energy of this new moon, is about thinking about that old teacher, the old part of you, those old concepts they're wired in you, they're programs, they're ways of thinking about life that are no longer serving you. And they're really being called to the forefront in ways that I just know that you're already questioning these areas of your life. you're already saying, with all this retrograde motion, this feels different now. And there's a sense of not, being encouraged to not reminisce about how it used to be, but to celebrate what you are creating by looking forward and just looking ahead. There is such beauty in that. And when you direct your energy in that forward momentum way, then your team, all of your higher self energy that is available to you always, will step in to assist, okay? Because your higher self can't really help as much when you're in a reminiscing mode. There is nothing wrong with reminiscing. There's nothing wrong with wanting some closure, in reflecting, which is what this retrograde energy is about. But again, I mentioned in the retrograde video, Jupiter, planet of expansion, abundance in all areas of our life, not just money. That is about to go direct on May 10th. So this new moon is setting us up to really take advantage of that, okay? So that's why the reminiscing has a place, but you're being called to go forward, okay? You've reminisced, and now it's about forward movement. So these cards really are about how do we bring, what is the theme of the new energy that your team, for the card you chose, is suggesting that you might want to consider embracing. What is the direction of that new energy? Because everything has shifted. This year is a year like no other. So we're really, we're looking at what can we shift in our perspective as we're looking forward. So that's kind of the setup for this new moon. So the 3 cards are, if you didn't see the photo that I posted, this is card number 1. All right. This is card number 2. And this is card number 3. All right. And it's funny, I've been using the Magdalene, these 2 decks, Magdalene and the Messages from Your Animal Spirit Guides. I have been using those a lot for my own readings, for the card readings, for everybody, and for client readings. So there's something about that energy that is important. So for those that chose card number 1, higher self energy is really coming in here. Couldn't be stronger. Trust, baby, trust. There is a sense, and I have had a very vivid meditation in the past couple days, of really surrendering, allowing your arms to go out, your heart wide open. And there is this golden stream that I see in my meditation. It is very fast moving. It's kind of like the Autobahn. And there's all these very cool, beautiful Taurus, fancy, expensive cars that are zooming. And they're so beautiful. And it's fast moving, that's the thing. But it's all golden and sort of white and rays of platinum light in there too. And there's every now and then this zing of rainbow energy that goes through. And there's sort of these bubbles that represent different energies joining that stream. And I was picturing, myself sort of being out like this, arms spread out. It's a sense of surrender, okay, that you are being encouraged to consider. Because as you're in that stance and you're surrendering and knowing that the universe, your team, your higher self, you are much more than this bodysuit. You came from somewhere. You came from something bigger. And your team is wise and loving and giving. And abundance is a natural state, okay? The aspects of earth that we create are of our creation. So when you surrender like that, arms out, heart wide open, you are suggesting, just as you see in this figure, can you see this outreach here? That is the natural state. And it's like in my meditation, I go over into that stream and I'm on the Autobahn and I'm gone. And it is just a sense of flow. It is literally getting in the flow. That's what I get for this card for you. That the new perspective to consider as you're setting your intention for this next 30-day cycle with the start of this new moon. That's what we do. Set the intention. Think about, what area of life do I just need to bring a sense of trust and faith to? And have the grace for yourself to allow that to happen. Allow that unfolding. Looking at this, the biggest figure out of the three that are represented here, that there is that sense of surrender, and you get on that Audubon flow, and you're just trust that your team has got your back, okay? Perhaps you have questioned a lot of things, and it's easier to remain in that reminisce mode than it is to truly trust and allow what's going to happen to happen. Also, take action where you feel inspired. It's the combo of the two. I'm not saying lay down on train tracks and let everybody roll over you. I'm saying allow the events to happen as they come, because they're divinely inspired. And as you get inspiration from your higher self to take action, that's where the masculine energy comes in. Take the action, okay? Move ahead. And don't be in the reminisce energy, because it's you just can't get on the Audubon there. You're not even near it when you're in a reminisce mode. Things have changed. That's what this whole reading is about. The energy has shifted. So for you, get on the Audubon, okay? So funny that came up. This is the second card, the Audubon image, I mean. Eternal embrace. What I get here is that, again, this is a really strong message from your team. This is from a higher self perspective. It feels, what I'm getting a vision of right now, really strong, is that they are behind you and you're doing that trust test. It ties into that other card, but it's a little different. You're falling back and you're good with whatever's going to happen, because they're right behind you. And they're also encouraging action. The fire there is very much action oriented. And we're in an earth sign with Taurus right now with this new moon. But there's going to be a period of fire coming up where you're going to be encouraged to move forward. Okay? So this is a great chance with Taurus to know that the divine inspiration that is coming through to you. So as you're feeling compelled to look into learning a new craft, reading a book, going to see someone you haven't seen in a long time, finding a new person that you've never listened to on YouTube before. I can't tell you how much that has changed my life out of the blue. Deciding that you're going to look into a new job. These ideas can come in so many forms. And I just want to say that there's going to be a lot of that. It's right ahead of you. And that it's very much heart inspired. It's soul driven. And that your team is right behind you. It's like you can't fail. Okay? So the mental state or sort of frame of mind for this new moon, think about that area where you really need that kind of energy. You need that no fail test where somebody is right behind you and you're gonna, take the leap or take the fall back, and really having that trust within you that it's going to be okay, but that action will be required. This card very much feels more action oriented than the first one. So yeah, just know that you're going to have to take some action and really trust your divine inspiration, because your team is giving you head to head. They're giving you the inspiration and you just need to pay attention to it. Okay. What's past is also coming up. Again, energy has shifted at this point. May is going to be, and as we go into the summer, planets start going direct, and that is your time to take the action. So use this time wisely to pay attention to the inspirations, okay? And know that your team has got your back. Wonderful. The last card is from the messages from your animal spirit guides. Honeybee energy. I love it. I love this card. I love this energy. The honeybee, the card itself says, let compassion and forgiveness be your top priority in this situation. And all I keep thinking about is teamwork. For those that chose this card, it feels like there is a mentality that your team is bringing forward as you set your intention for the new moon. Whatever it is you're wanting to create, consider the benefit of teamwork. And in the teamwork structure, know that everybody has a part to play, and that it is divinely inspired, the parts that people are playing. Could be outbursts that they're having. It might not always be pleasant, in a group setting, in a teamwork setting. But your calling in this is to bring the compassion and forgiveness. You think about honeybees, and there's no one-upping each other. That's my feeling that I get when I think about a honeybee colony. There's no one-upping. It is simply working together to find a solution and get to a certain result. They're building the honey. They're creating the honey. And everybody's got a job to do. And so there is a mindset they're asking you to think about in what you're wanting to set as an intention, of recognizing that there are multiple people who play a role and honoring their role, honoring what is coming through, what you're noticing, and trying to not have judgment around it. That's hard. I get it. I'm right next to you on it. It's very hard to not have the judgment, but just know that everybody's doing the best they can with what they know, where they're at. Nobody's higher or lower. We're just in all different phases of our own individual knowledge. We're all flowers, and we're just at different stages of opening and closing, because there's a natural expansion and contraction that takes place for all of us. So thus, bad moods or bad periods can come along. They feel bad. It's a contraction period. There are other times when it's very open and expanded, and that's beautiful too. And that's, you just feel like you could give your heart out to everybody, like you can't interact with people enough, or you can't give of yourself enough. It's wonderful energy, but the cycle is all of that together. Expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction. That's how we grow. That's how we experience, literally. So just know everybody's on the team together. Everybody's got a part to play, and how someone else is playing their part might not be how you would envision it or think maybe they should, but just pay attention to your own wheelhouse, okay? I'm not saying this to be critical. That's just the message. It's about having compassion and forgiveness in your own state, right where you are, and doing the best damn job that you can of your part to play on the whole of the honeybee team, because your part is equally important to everybody else. And so wherever you're at in your expansion and contraction is needed, okay? And just try to do the very best that you can with compassion and forgiveness in your heart. And know that when you approach things in that way, it it truly can help to shift the whole of the team. The whole of the team, where you're all honeybees, nobody one-upping the other. It becomes a much more harmonious project, I want to call it. Everything becomes more harmonious, and there's just no competition and there's no judgment there. It's just your part to play, and you do your very best at what you do, which is so needed from each of us individually. All right, so there we have it. I hope you have a great new moon. Be sure to set your intention prior to the new moon, which happens, I'll put it in the description. It's something after 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday, the May 6th. And I generally set my intention somewhere right before or just after that new moon. But really, any time during the day, Friday would be great. And wishing you a wonderful 30-day cycle ahead. It's going to be a good one. Taurus is just lovely. Enjoy it.